you reminded me of something that I meant to ask earlier, that obesity reduces NAD levels and accelerates aging. How? I mean, okay, so again, this is the scientist in us. You know, so someone's carrying a lot of excess adipose tissue, subcutaneous and visceral fat. But why should that reduce NAD in any ways that are independent of effects on glucose and insulin? If it, you know, is there something direct about white adipose tissue? And the reason I ask this is not simply to dig into mechanism alone, but I think there are really interesting data now that fat actually gets neural innervation. I mean, it's not just stored fuel. It's stored fuel that's acting as an endocrine organ, essentially. So, yeah, why would being fat make people age faster?
Yeah, that's a question that is so obvious, but so few people ask it. That's what makes you a good scientist. And so that we don't know, but I'll give you my best answer, which is that obesity comes along with a lot of problems that include a lot of senescent cells in fat. If you stain old fat for senescent cells, it lights up. Mm-hmm. And when you kill off those cells, at least in mice and maybe in humans, it looks like the fat is less toxic to the body because those senescent cells in their fat are secreting these inflammatory molecules that will accelerate aging, as we now know. You talk about the sirtuins and NAD. So if we just look philosophically at why this would be, the sirtuins only like to come on or get activated when the body is under adversity. And if a cell is surrounded by fat or contains a lot of fat, it's going to think times are good, doesn't need to switch on. So that's the evolutionary argument. Mechanistically, we don't know, but it could have something to do with the response to glucose, which then responds to the sirtuin gene. But that hasn't been worked out very well.
And is there any evidence that leptin, this hormone from fat, can actually interact with the sirtuin pathway?
I don't recall seeing that.
Maybe I could do a sabbatical in your lab, and that'd be a fun one.
Definitely.
Because leptin during development is what triggers the permission for the hypothalamus to enter puberty. Right.
Yeah.
This is why kids that eat a lot when they're young and get overweight will also start to go and undergo puberty more quickly, although they have reproductive issues later.
Well, yeah, we should study the hypothalamus together because the hypothalamus can control the aging of the body.
The most interesting part of the brain.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
If you turn on the SIRT1 gene, the sirtuin gene that we work on in the hypothalamus, it actually will extend lifespan. Also, it's been shown by Dongsheng Kai at Albert Einstein College of Medicine that if you inhibit inflammation in the hypothalamus in a mouse, it will increase or maintain the expression of what's called GnRH, which is the hormone that he found actually controls longevity in the mouse in part. And so keeping inflammation down in the hypothalamus is sufficient to extend the lifespan of animals. And I reviewed that paper for Nature about 7 years ago. And that was the first demonstration that the hypothalamus is